Hello you guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna switch things up. I normally do lifestyle content and I also do interior design related content, but today I'm gonna present to you an fully interior design related video only. We'll try this out, maybe I'll do a series, comment down below if you want it. So without further ado, let's get started. I am excited because I'm going to be doing my top 5 things you need to know if you want to be an interior designer. And I'm gonna list them below. I wrote them down in my handy dandy little book here. I'm gonna list them below and then I'll go into depth and discuss it. So, number 1, we'll talk about interior design versus interior decorating, what that means. Number 2, getting a degree versus getting a certificate in interior design. Let's talk about each of them. The next one is, we'll talking about the reality of what interior design school is really like. It's different than most people expect. The next thing is we're going to be talking about the reality of working with clients and how it can affect your love for interior design, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you good tips on that. And then the last and the final, number 5, is one of my favorites. It's such a good thing to know. It is talking about when design works versus taste. So we're going to be discussing style and taste. So this is for anybody who is interested in being an interior designer, who hasn't started studying yet or is studying already, but people who are aspiring to be an interior designer. A little background, I'm 22 years old. I studied to be an interior designer a couple years ago. I do interior design now. I do freelance. I was working as a kitchen designer. I was working at a furniture store, working for a construction company. So I'm gonna give you all the little details and all the things I picked up along the way to where I am now. Let me just give you some big sister advice. So let's get right into it. All right, so let's talk about interior design versus interior decorating. So interior design, by definition, in the interior design world, is when you are designing a space with the structural walls of the house, meaning you're not just decorating, which I'll tell you what that is. Interior design is when you take a floor plan and you decide where the rooms should be, you decide which walls to break down. It's different than an architecture because an architect, okay, let's talk about architect versus interior designer versus decorator. An architect is somebody who knows the math, and their job is to make sure that whatever we're building right now will not fall apart. So they go into the science of the foundation of a home or a school or a building, and when they're drawing it out or they're looking at floor plans, their job is to know the science and the mathematics of proportions and where to put the things in a house so it can structurally not collapse. So architect takes care of all the technical parts of a house when you're actually planning how you want to build the house. So before building it. Then an interior designer is somebody who will go in there and be like, oh, I think it'd be cool if the room is here and the bathroom's here and the closet's here, and then oh, and I think it'd be cool if the dining room is this big, and then the living room comes right after that, and then the bathroom here. And then we'll go to an architect or a contractor and check it by them and see if it's actually possible to make, because an interior designer normally doesn't have the knowledge that an architect has of mathematical stuff, of foundation, of technical stuff, if it's actually possible to build. It's just an interior designer has the eye for the art and how they envision the space should look, you know? So the architect is kind of the foundational person to be like, yo, nice imagination, but that's not gonna work, or love this design, it's gonna work. And then lastly, interior decorator is somebody who comes in, doesn't touch any walls of the house, doesn't say like, oh, I want this wall down, simply just decorating. So you come to a room that is just bare walls. Sometimes it entails painting the walls. The interior decorator will be like, let's do some wallpaper, and then picking out the furniture, and picking out the rugs, and picking out the pillows. So interior designer will sometimes decorate as well. but interior decorator will only decorate. So I hope this clears things up. And I will add, a contractor is somebody who oversees a project as a whole. So you need a contractor. It's basically, a contractor is the person who will hire all the subcontractors. Subcontractors are like the plumber, the electrician guy, the roofer. Like, instead of the homeowner being their own contractor, that would mean that the homeowner will hire the roofer, the homeowner will hire the architect, the homeowner will hire the plumber, the electrician, the rubbish removal. Like, when there's construction, there's so many people you need on the project to do different things. Security system. So therefore, normally when people are doing a project, they hire a contractor, because the contractor has all the knowledge, all the connections with all the people in the industry, and the contractor will take care of all of that. So that is how it works. I work with contractors, so I know a lot about that. And we didn't deal a lot with architects or designers, because a lot of times the clients like to deal with the designers and architects directly, and then hire their own contractor, and then the designer and architect will deal with the contractor when needed. But it's normally, that's how it works. And I worked for a contractor in New York doing commercial buildings, so that was pretty cool. All right. Second thing you need to know if you want to be an interior designer is, let's discuss degree versus certificate. And I've gotten a lot of comments about this, so I'm excited to talk to you guys about it. So, interior design degree versus interior design certificate. So interior design degree is obviously getting like a bachelor's of science or whatever. It's a bachelor's in interior design, however your college does it. It's getting a degree in interior design, and then a certificate is normally getting a certificate in interior design. So the difference is the length of each one. A degree will take you 4 years or plus, and then a certificate is normally a 1-year program, normally, or a couple months, condensed, very rigorous, very hard, and they'll take everything you normally learn. And a designer explained this to me really well, because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and she's like, you basically, for a certificate, they'll take everything they teach you in school in the 4-year program, and they'll condense it into 1 year. And instead of digging into each topic as you have the time to do so in a degree program, right, because it's a longer amount of time. So if we're discussing drawing, it'll take a semester or whatever, but when you do the 1-year program, it'll be like 2-3 classes. So it can be very intense, and it can be a lot of pressure. I decided to go with a certificate program because I was like, it's just 1 year. I'm in interior design. It's not like I'm being a doctor. It's not like I need a degree in interior design. So I decided then, like, I'm gonna start with my certificate, and if I ever feel like I need a degree, I'll go get my degree. It's been a couple of years since I got my certificate, and I've only once felt like I needed my degree because I was applying for jobs and I wanted to work, let's say, for major interior design firms, like big companies that like design for hotels and just like more corporate interior design. And I found that when I applied to jobs like that, they wanted me to have a degree. So that was definitely harder. But working for small businesses for interior design is easier, and obviously working for yourself with a certificate, nobody cares. Once you are good at, that's the thing with interior design and interior decorating, is once you are good, once you know what you're doing, once you've got it all down, and let's say you have your website up and you have your Instagram up and you show all your designs, getting individual clients, they don't care if you have a degree. They see your work, they see your experience, they hear from clients you've worked from, and that's enough. If you're working for yourself, you do not need a degree. That's why I was like, I'm just going to start with my certificate, and I can always get my degree if I want to. So I would highly recommend that. I will say, I'll discuss it on a further a next tip, but it's really hard, the schooling. So that is what I would say, is starting with their certificate, and then if you want to get a degree, you can, unless your goal is to work for a really fancy firm and you need a degree, which you should look into that, because sometimes you don't even need a degree in interior design. You can just need a bachelor's in anything and then have a certificate. Because let me just go into it a little bit more. An interior design certificate, trade school it's called, when you get a certificate, you learn so much. I learned Photoshop, Adobe, InDesign, SketchUp, V-Ray, AutoCAD, how to write contracts, how to write proposals, design elements, how to draw. We learned so much. We learned how to interact with contractors, how to interact with architects, like all that stuff, and in just 1 year. So you learn a lot, and half of my class dropped out because that's how hard it was compared to what they thought it was. Next thing is okay, this is actually the next step, is the reality of school, is that I wanted to talk about how so many people dropped out. It's way harder than people think it is. People think, oh, it's just design, art. No, you're learning AutoCAD, which is super technical to learn. And once you learn AutoCAD, which that is the most important program to know if you want to be an interior designer, if you want to get a job in interior design, if you know the programs, you're pretty good too. If you know all these programs, AutoCAD, SketchUp are probably the main ones. AutoCAD is the main, and then SketchUp and V-Ray. And once you know kind of these two programs, you can figure out all the other one. Like if you're working with kitchens, it's 2020, which I got a kitchen job without knowing 2020 because I told them I know AutoCAD fluently. Learning it was super hard and technical, and I got so frustrated by it. And once I got it, it's like a language. It's on my fingertips. I know it so well. So AutoCAD is definitely super duper important. And then what other program? And then the Photoshop, InDesign, all these programs are super duper important too, just to play around with things, just to know it. And then obviously you're learning art history, which was so interesting. I loved art history. And then how to draw, we learned how to draw floor plans and codes and lighting plans and RCP plans. Super cool, but super technical and super hard. So just prepare yourself. Like if you're in school, maybe do a part-time job and not a full-time job, because I was doing a full-time job in school and it was a lot. So I would say that. Okay. Then the fourth thing I want to say of something you need to know if you want to be an interior designer is the complexity of, that was just this one, is the reality of working with clients. So I want to make things very clear here. A lot of times you work with clients and you have to figure out their style. It can be so frustrating because you prepare this beautiful design that you really like, and you're an interior designer, you're an artist, and obviously the people who hired you are not on that level to design their place on their own, so they hired you. And you'll represent a beautiful design and they'll be like, no. And like, it can sometimes get so frustrating because sometimes clients will drive you crazy and they won't like it, or this or that. They'll get stuck on little details, and it can sometimes make a designer feel like, I'm not good enough, I'm not good at this, like I'm just terrible. And you have to realize that like there's people out there, so many people out there that like you choose to be friends with, people you don't choose to be friends with. Sometimes it's just not a match. They don't like your style in the first place, so they're not for you. Don't let a client ruin your ego and your confidence of being an interior designer, because I've definitely let that happen, and it can be so frustrating and feel so doubting and be like, do I even know how to design? And it's just like, you have to learn how to attract the clients you want, and that's definitely something I'm still learning and I'm excited to get better at. But it's definitely sifting through clients, and don't get stuck with clients who are not treating you nicely, who are not in tune with your style, and they don't even like your style, because art is art, it's objective, and if they don't like it, they're not for you. And don't make them ruin your confidence in your art. So that is super important, and learn that early on, because or else people can bring you down so easily, and don't let that happen. Okay, the very last one, which is so important and so helpful, I learned this in school. The fifth one is style. So this is such a helpful way to understand style better, is with interior design, there is, does this work? And there's taste. So how do you know if, let's say you present something to a client and they don't like it? Doesn't mean that you did a bad job designing. No, it means that it's not their taste. There's a difference though. Sometimes someone will design something and like the door's in the wrong place, or like the colors are clashing. That is when the design is wrong. It doesn't work. And then there is, this design works beautifully, but someone still doesn't like it, then it's just not their taste. It's like food. This is not my taste. So this differentiation is super duper duper important, because once you learn that, it'll be so helpful to know and not to just get stuck on, again, like, oh, what did I do wrong? No, it's just not their taste. Check yourself though. Make sure you didn't design it wrong, or make sure it works. But if someone still doesn't like your art, it's not their style, it's not their taste. Finished. Or, you know, that's all. And learning the different styles is super helpful, because I feel like nowadays, if you learn back, like in school, you learn like Roman time, Byzantine Empire, like you learn the different styles that they designed their homes and places at those times, and it really reflected on the time period, like the Dark Ages. The style is very modern, very minimalistic, because they were poor. And it's just really interesting, because nowadays a lot of our styles are a combination between all of it. So it's a good way to understand style better, understand different people's styles. So even if it's not your style, you can still design that style if you want to. If not, stick to your style and you got this. Just don't be afraid to tap into your art. And I was afraid to do so in the beginning, but once you tap into yourself and you express yourself fully, you'll attract the clients you want, and the people who like you will like you more, and the people who don't like you will distance themselves even more, because they're like, oh, this is not for me. So the less you're just neutral with everything, you won't get anyone, because it's like not here, not there. But be strong with your style. Be strong and authentic with who you are. Don't work with clients who bring you down, and you got this. Work hard. Take care of yourself, figure out things while you're doing design work that helps you. Like for me, I like to have food and little snacks around me. That helps me keep me motivated. Getting creative block is a real thing, and I'm still trying to figure out different ways that can help me with getting over creative block. Like I'll just be like, oh. So definitely comment down below if you have any ideas. But that is about it. Thank you for watching this video. Comment down below what else you want to see. This is a new kind of video. Maybe I'll start a little series of doing interior design only content, because I do lifestyle videos as well. And my most popular video as of now is interior design day in the life, which was a while back, which was really fun to film, and I'm glad you guys loved it so much. So yeah, comment down below what else you want to see more from me, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Good luck. You got this.